Chronicles 24. Joash orders the temple repaired. Joash was 7 years old when he became king, and he ruled over Judah from Jerusalem for 40 years. His mother's name was Zibiah. She was from Beersheba. Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord nearly all the years of Jehoiada, the high priest. When Joash got old enough to marry, Jehoiada the high priest chose 2 wives for him, and Joash took them and had many sons and daughters. Some years after he became king, Joash decided to restore the temple because it had fallen into disrepair. So he called together the priests and Levites and said, "Go throughout the country and collect the annual temple tax as quickly as you can." But the priests and Levites kept putting it off. Then Joash called in Jehoiada, the high priest, and said, "Why didn't you urge the priests and Levites to collect the annual temple tax? This tax is what the Lord through Moses told the people to pay, to keep up the temple." While the wicked queen Athaliah had been alive, her sons had broken into the temple and taken many sacred objects which they then diverted for worshipping Baal. Impatient with the delay of the priests and Levites to collect the temple tax, so he commanded that a chest be made and placed at the entrance to the temple. Then he issued a proclamation throughout Judah and Jerusalem that the people should bring their temple tax to the Lord as Moses had instructed they should. The officials and people cheerfully paid the temple tax. They put it into the chest that Joash had placed at the entrance. At the end of every day, the Levites would bring the chest inside and call the king's officials to come and open it. Then the royal secretary and the representative of the high priest would empty it. The next morning, the Levites would put the chest back at the entrance of the temple. It wasn't long before they had collected a large amount of money. Then, the king and the high priest gave the money to the men in charge of repairing the temple. They hired carpenters and masons and others who could work with iron and bronze. The men in charge were honest men and committed to restoring the original design of the temple as quickly as they could, making it as solid as ever. When they finished their job and had money left over, they brought it to the king and the high priest, who used the money to have things made for use in worship, such as bowls and other utensils of silver and gold. Then Jehoiada, the high priest, began regular services in the temple and offered whole burnt offerings to the Lord every day as long as he lived.